The Gretna Dragons will have a new leader on the sidelines in 2024. Hi, Sean Callahan with HuskerOnline.com as we took a bigger look at Gretna heading into this upcoming season as they'll be led by new head coach Joe Dalton, who will take over for Mike Kale in the position.
Yeah, so focusing on next year, we're excited to be Class B just with how our enrollment fell and kind of renew some old rivalries that Gretna is used to. I'm sure some of the parents are really excited about that, or alumni. And there's really good football in Class B too. So we're excited to kind of play some of those teams that play really good football in Class B. I think that's been a big uptick for them. As far as Class A goes, last year, disappointing. You know, whenever you lose on the final play against Omaha North, they were the better team that night. But we kind of felt like we had some more left in the tank there with the school split. That kind of dropped some of our numbers in the program, so trying to build that back up a little bit. And really that's just been a depth thing going forward. So we had a really good year, successful season. Not what we wanted to have happen, but hopefully that kind of gives our team and coaches some hunger for next year.
And taking a deeper look at the Dragons, they're clearly going to be led at the line of scrimmage by offensive lineman Calvin Jansen, who already has a few different Division I offers.
Yeah, Calvin does a great job so he's been with us for 4 years. He came up. He's one of the kids that we pulled up as freshmen. Really physical kid. Obviously, you look at him, you see the size. He's got really good feet, really good hands, multi-sport athlete, plays basketball, baseball as well. But really, when the lights are on, he does a great job finishing blocks and things like that. Does a great job with all of our schemes. Hoping to use some of that on the defensive line this year as well, because he's mainly been a one-way guy, but really been the anchor for us the last couple of years at left tackle.
I mean, our O-line was a big part of our success this year. I mean, our two other dudes in the back are returners, and they'll return next year. So our 3 starters from last year are returning next year.
Jansen said just getting some of those early offers has been big. Just getting his name on the radar as a number of different coaches made their way by Gretna over the winter.
Yeah, I mean, really exciting. I mean, that was the goal going into the season, was to get my first offer. So that happened. So
both Nebraska and Iowa State are 2 Power 5 programs to keep a close eye on.
Iowa State and Nebraska.
And what are they telling you?
I mean, Iowa State says I can play there, but they never offered yet. But I'm going to go down there in the spring, visit them again.
Meanwhile, the Dragons have 2 other prospects to keep tabs on, including lineman Griffin Goldman, the younger brother of current Husker Mason Goldman.
So Griffin's a kid, doesn't have necessarily the measurables that Calvin and Ben have in terms of height. Still a big kid, though, at 6'1", 6'2", 250. Griffin was also a kid that we brought up as a freshman, which doesn't really happen a whole lot in our program, so definitely a special talent there. I saw him take a big step after Mason left, you know, kind of just not being the little brother of Mason anymore, trying to find his own path. But physical along the D-line, does a great job on our interior of the offensive line, can play guard, center guard for us, and he would sub in on 3rd down on the defensive line just to kind of save his legs a little bit. But a physical kid, does a great job getting after the passer. Yeah, just really good football IQ, does a great job.
And finally, lineman Ben Marion is another Dragon to keep tabs on here as he's received some Division I attention.
Yeah, Ben, kid who he started this year as a junior, so 1-year starter, gonna return next year, played right tackle for us. Ben was a kid that just kept getting better. Just kept getting better and better throughout the year. Really, what ended up happening was we were able to run all of our schemes both ways, whether he was pulling or we were running to him, things like that, which was really, really good to see. Our offensive line coach did a great job with Ben. But really starting to see some of that aggression come out in him as well. I think he's a kid that really enjoys playing, great for team morale, really funny in the locker room, pretty loose kid. But good hands and feet, needs to keep kind of improving there. But some schools that are kind of looking at him a little bit are, again, those USD, South Dakota State, Northern Illinois type schools. And I believe his dad played at Kansas State. So I know he's been there a couple times as well.
Reporting here at the In-State Tour, I'm Sean Callahan for HuskerOnline.com.